Happy Thursday, everybody. This is your favorite crypto trading show, Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. Hey, so we had a nice little move up a while ago, up to the 1940s. So, big deal is, I actually think 2000 may be in the cards today. We're going to go over that with you a little later. However, we are due for a pullback. We have a $250 million liquidation, and we'll find out. We'll tell you where that is here a little bit later when we look at high block. Because we should probably retrace and come get that 100x liquidation. So we'll talk about that a little later. But right now, let's dive into it and see what we got going on. And B. Wellington, as always, is already at the charts. Good morning, my friend. And what do you got?
What's going on, Clutch?
Not much, man.
Uh, well, we have a pump, man. This thing is decided it really wanted to run. I think this is more of a short squeeze, and if you want to call it a response to some of that CPI data that came out, you can do so. But really, from a fundamental standpoint, I don't think that this really has a whole lot of legs. And, because we've moved up so quickly, generally, when you have one of these fundamental moves that is going to stick, it's kind of a slower move in the beginning, kind of starts to run up, towards some of those highs. And so this has been, somewhat of a straight up move. I don't think that the CPI data is going to signal a Fed pivot by any means, but what the Fed's doing is definitely working. But just from a chart perspective, we are up at one of the ranges. So this is the peak that we talked about actually yesterday. This line was up here, and if I scroll over, hopefully you'll be able to see that this line right here, we've got some which was a peak before the drop that we had before.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
doesn't. Yeah, it looks like it wants to come up. Can you see it or no?
Not we can't see the other peak to the left if that's what you're trying to get to.
Yeah,
There
so
it
here it
is.
is.
There it
Here's
is.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's that peak to the left. So, we got up to this point. We had somewhat of a pullback last night. We've already challenged that, a little bit of a pullback already. Our next peak on this end, like I would say major peak, would be kind of that 2015 area. So if we start to head up from here, we're at 1908 right now. 2015, that's $100 move. So if we do start pushing very heavily through this area and see some volume come in, as you can see, we had some volume already come in the European session. But expect us to get to that 2015 area and then potentially push through that area as well. But definitely start looking at those peaks. If we look to the downside, we talked about this thing coming right back up. Coming up so quickly, we really haven't had a really good retrace at any point since we had the big move to the upside from kind of that 1700 1650s area. And so if we do pull back, I would expect us to come back to that 1779, which is this yellow line here. Or if we wanted to retrace all the way back, I mean, we kind of flipped this over. This was acting as resistance, and now it's going to act as support at that 16 or 1733 area. So, just be wary of that. If we do start coming to the downside, we do have the daily open at what is that? 1847. And so that could be in play as well. But we are due for a retrace, but we could move one leg back up before we get the retrace back down. They have been popping out, a lot of these shorts that are out there, on this. We kind of look down here, we're looking at a little bit of bearish divergence. It's already passed, but we do have the momentum wave kind of pointing to the upside, which would indicate that we've got a move back up to the upside, but RSI is moving pretty flat.
Hey, so
Yeah, I mean,
just real quick, what kind of price targets do you have in mind if we do continue to move upward?
so if we start moving to the upside, like I mentioned, we do have this 2015 here. We've got another major resistance at this 22, call it 2300. So if we start to get into this area, that's kind of where I'm looking at as far as our next line of resistance is around that 2300 area. But we do have some of these peaks that, we've got to go get through as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably punishing the breakout traders that tried to go long on that, breaking out of that wick, and that's when we had that nice little pullback right there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. We just have to see if that pullback remains. I mean, market just opened, so we'll have to kind of see what the actual traditional markets are doing. OI is up at 6.8 billion. I think a lot of this is going to be long volume as they liquidate some of these late shorts that are coming in. But 15.6%. We've also had, if we want to talk about actual crypto news, there's been the kind of the pre-test to the merge was successful. So everybody's talking about that merge that's coming up, which is supposed to be beneficial for ETH overall. If we look at things like funding rate is starting to turn negative on the predicted, but definitely positive right now. So kind of a mixed bag. Always kind of look at FTX; they're positive. Your major exchanges, Binance is positive. On the USDT side, negative on the coin margin. So just kind of some really not a whole lot of insight from that. Futures were up this morning. And so we continue to be up 189 points. I think we might have dropped down a little bit from that futures high. We've got gold at 93, and of course, Bitcoin being up along with Ethereum. Lots of news about some of the sanctions that are coming out. I mean, with all this pumping that's going on, CPI data, we still have high energy, still have, Ukrainian, Russian war. We still have tension with China. That's out there. So we'll have to see how that goes from the economic calendar standpoint. We did have some news that came out this morning, which I would say was positive news, in the sense that we've got core CPI at 6.8%. So that's coming down. Wholesale inventories pretty much a flat, from that perspective. Let me make sure let me see. Here we go. Initial jobless claims, that's what I was looking at, is 262. So jobless claims are actually going down. Continuous jobless claims at 1.43 million. That's flat. Producer price index at negative 0.5, which just means that costs for companies are coming down relative to what they're producing. So all this is positive news for the economy, but does not quite signal a Fed pivot, because positive news for the economy also means that the economy continues to grow, which does not help inflation, even though we just got that inflation number. So,
do you ever think that sometimes they just pull numbers out of their ass and put things in there to keep the market in check and working to their favor and how it's supposed to?
I think that the numbers are, not hugely accurate relative to the economy itself, but I think everybody kind of gleams their own opinion about how truthful the numbers are kind of overall.
Right, yeah. So let's check out what I gotta show you guys. Let's see here. We want to do here, and then here,
and here,
and then here. Then we want to look at high block capital here. I'm going to pull this screen over. You should be able to see high block capital, can you?
I can see high block capital.
Okay, cool. So as you can see, we're down here around 1900 now. So we've already come in and got this $97 million long liquidation. We're working on getting the 50x liquidation of that, and then we have 1859 for the 25x liquidation. But the big guy that's still out here, that's 100x that we haven't got to, 1746, guys. And there's a really good probability that we will come back and at least get that one. They normally don't leave these hanging out, and like we were talking about this morning, we are due for that retrace. However, Bookmap's going to help us with a little bit more in determining where they're going to go right now, because a lot of people are, as you can see, jumping on board to go long. So they're going to want to trick it, play some trickery here and get those guys kind of out from going long before they really do a nice move up. And guys, we are due, Clutch Crypto and the bull run, we are due to get some nice movement to the upside. However, I'm not ruling out that we come down here and get this money first. Price has got to go lower before it goes higher. I know sometimes things just don't really make sense when you say them like that, but that is in fact how the market works. And as you can see, with just these little moves, we're up at $20 billion in cumulative liquidation delta, dude. $20 billion, and that's just on ETH. We're not even talking about Bitcoin or anything else. This is one coin. However, it is number two. $20 billion. That's a lot. That's a lot of.
A lot of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese and a lot of delta, and they're going to want to come get some of that money so that they can go higher. So again, let's look at Bookmap and just kind of get an idea on what we think is going to happen with that. So let me slide this over, and we're going to look at Bookmap now. And I'm going to slide this thing over for you guys so you can see it. Give it just 1 second to catch up. And as you guys can see, Bookmap here. So we came up, we tested up here in the 1940.
So hold on, Clutch, because I can't see your screen at this point.
Okay. You should be able to see it.
Are you sharing it?
Yep. Nothing.
Not yet.
Nothing. Really? Here, let me hold on. I will exit and reshare. And then anything?
No.
Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen, we're having technical difficulties.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, cool. All right, so as you guys can see, we came up here in this area. We tested the 1940 area, which was that little breakout, that last peak where a lot of people, breakout traders, were probably going long. And as you can see, we've had a nice pullback down to the 1900. We kind of got around the VWAP here. And we're doing a lot of shorts try to show up here. As you can see, now we're doing a little pullback up and just really kind of ranging in here. So right now we got some liquidity down here at 1900 and then at 1930. So we do have some momentum to the upside currently. So big area is if we get up to 1930 and we continue to break out, we should go ahead and retest this peak in 1940. Once we test that, and if we do break out from the 1940 area, go ahead and expect higher prices. I'm zooming out now so we can get a little bit bigger picture on long-term liquidity. And as you guys can see, as I zoom out again, 2000s, we don't have really anything down below us, but we got some stuff down here, up here at 2000 and 2050. And 2000s got quite a few orders, over 4,000 cluster of orders. So each, those aren't coin, that's a cluster of orders, and those could be, those could be one coin, those could be hundreds of coins. So nice big cluster of order at 2000. Not a whole lot of room below us, and we do have some momentum up to the upside right now. So again, I do think we might just kind of range in here. It looks like we want to go up, but guys, if we start breaking down, and I would say if we get past 1880, I would expect some more orders to start showing up down here and seeing low prices. So until we break 1880, I mean, I'm definitely still bullish for the rest of the day, because it looks like, based on what the order flow looks like, that's kind of the direction we want to. We do have some confluence that we want to go that direction. Right now, it's just a matter of if they want to come back down and get that big liquidation that's below us, or if they're going to leave it there because they need to get more retail on board to go long before they come back and get it. So really, guys, that's just kind of the that's the micro for the day, because we're just going to have to play these ranges and see which way it breaks out. So again, I'm anything less than 1880. I'm pretty bearish on, but if we go back and retest this area at 1940 and we do break out, I'm all bullish for about 2000s. And I got orders, conditionals placed both directions, so we can catch the wave no matter which way it goes. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it looks good for the day. I mean, it's Thursday. We got Friday coming up into the weekend, so probably is going to hold it up there, move into the weekend, see what happens for next week. So we'll see. It's been quite the pump, and we'll see if it continues.
Well, that's all we have for today. I will not be here for the show tomorrow. So Friday, fun day, we'll be starting a little early. So unfortunately, I got a little tea time I got to get to. B Wellington, are you going to make the show tomorrow, or are you also out and we'll just?
I will take advantage of this to sleep in. While
Okay.
you're out playing your thing, doing your thing, I will be in my bed doing my thing.
Okay, guys. We will see you Monday morning. Same time, same place. We may, if there's a lot of activity going on over the weekend, we might have a Sunday night show. So subscribe. You'll get the notification if Sunday comes around. If not, we'll see you guys Monday morning, same time, same place, 8:15, 8:30ish Central Standard Time, Monday morning. Until then, hey,